Now, the planets in the game are not just for show, because you can actually terraform them. And if we take a look at the galaxy map, it gives you the amount of planets in a sector. This one here has 5, which is the maximum. Now, what does terraforming do? Every terraformed planet gives you a special unique bonus, which is just tied to the planet, but you also get a 25% bonus on all sector stats. This is new in 0 Hour 2.0. Complete rework of the entire system. So every planet plus 25% for all stats. If you are starting out with a higher base population like this, then you are getting a larger increase from terraforming. And every planet also gives you an extra perk slot for that sector. There are planets which have the perk bonus as their unique planet bonus. In this case, you would get 2 extra perks for that planet. Now, terraforming requires the new faction, Phanon. So you must have already brought them to life. So it's sort of available at the mid-game. And to do terraforming, to get started, you head over into the Ministry of War to the sectors list. And here you have sector view and terraforming. And on default, you will see all sectors in the game, but you can limit this to your own sectors. Clicking on one of them expands the planets, and here you can see the unique planet bonus. But in 0 Hour, this is only a minor benefit. The biggest bonus is always the generic 25% sector stats and the extra perk slot. Now you can just click on these planets and start to terraform them, and you can do as many as you like. But this has requirements. It doesn't cost anything, but it has requirements. First, you need a sector connection, a jump gate connection with a Phanon sector. And this connection must remain active as long as all your projects are done in that sector. So if someone attacks Phanon and conquers this sector and they lose it, and you lose the sector connection, and you still have terraforming projects active in this sector, then they will abort and you will lose all progress on them. And that's why you might want to do fewer projects, because when you are terraforming multiple planets at the same time in a sector, then you are splitting the workforce that Phanon is providing to do the terraforming for you. And that workforce is dependent on their population. So here you can see that we have 762 Phanon terraformers. And this is basically just their outpost population. So every Phanon sector in the game will add to that workforce and speed up your terraforming. And this gets split over all projects globally, which are currently active, all planet terraforming projects. And that's why it takes longer, of course, if you do multiple planets at the same time. But you also get an efficiency bonus. So the more planets you do at the same time, the better your workforce will be utilized. And it will all will go faster, but of course it takes longer to see the actual first benefits from the system. So in this case, I'm just aborting the 4 projects that I have just started, so that we get the first planet, which I had started a couple of hours ago. So the more Phanon sectors there are, the faster it goes. This planet here will increase my station support limit for that sector by 3. And this gets applied before the generic 25% bonus on all stats. So it makes sense to unlock those planets which increase your base stats. So like extra population, extra research rate, and the extra station support. You want to unlock those first because it increases your base value before applying the 25% stat bonus that you get for all planets. Then there's also a strategic downside for having active terraforming projects, and this gets summed up here. So you have consequences for yourself, the player, and you have consequences for Phanon. For you as the player, it just means that your outpost in scale plate green here, it cannot really craft anything, because the Phanon robots are basically using the outpost as their base of operations for the terraforming project. It also shows up in the outpost list that this outpost is currently serving as their base, and this just means that the crafting is very slow. So you can still build ships here, but it's really, really slow and you don't get anything done. The same happens for Phanon, and this is globally for all their outposts, and they cannot build any new factories because all their people are busy to work your planet, basically. So I have recently given Phanon those 4 sectors here, and they haven't built any factories. It's just the basic outpost that they get when you give them the sector. They are not building factories because they are all busy with terraforming my planet. And only once all terraforming projects are done, they can build again. And let's activate the debug option, which shows us all the AI outposts. And if we scroll over to the Phanon outposts, you see that they have a bunch of ship orders in their backlog. So they are building multiple freighters, a fighter, and a cruiser. And the progress on these crafting projects is also extremely slow. So they are not getting anything done because of the active terraforming. So you have to keep this in mind. If you want to speed up your projects, you need to give Phanon more sectors so that they have more outposts and a higher population. But then these new sectors, if they are not developed like these, and you have active terraforming projects, then you are sort of hurting their progress. They cannot develop these sectors until your terraforming is done. So you might want to help Phanon to establish themselves before you start some serious terraforming. But since those sectors down here are built up, and they have stations, they have fleets in here, I decided to start the first planet project in this sector, and I plan to terraform all of them because the 25% stat bonus stacks on top of each other. So especially here with the population, with the first planet, we are getting 25% extra. Then with the next planet, we are getting 25% on that. So it really adds up. And those sectors with high planets are very valuable. Now you can't spam this terraforming forever, because every planet that you terraform will also increase the amount of sectors that Phanon needs. They are basically not doing it for free. They want you to help expand their empire. So you can never terraform more planets than Phanon has sectors in their empire. So you need to help them expand, or they will no longer do the terraforming for you.